Scent of Green Papaya, in Vietnamese title Mùi du du sen, or in French title L'odeur de la papaye verte, directed by Vietnamese-French director Trần Anh Hùng, was produced with funding from a French producer. The film portrays the lifestyle of Vietnamese people before and during the Vietnam War around the 1940s, 1970s, and reflects on gender roles in Vietnamese society at that time. Mui, an innocent girl from the countryside, has to leave her hometown to work as a servant in the home of a wealthy family whose financial status is deteriorating, located in Saigon, Vietnam. The household includes the father, the wealthy man, the mother, the lady of the house, the grandmother, the wealthy man's mother, the eldest son Trung, the middle son Lam, and the youngest son Tin. The youngest daughter, Ta, passed away a long time ago. The middle-aged housemaid is named T. Every day, Mui leads a simple life and learns from the nature around her with the pure and innocent perspective of a child. An old man named Tuan, who has secretly loved the grandmother since her youth, visits the house every day to gaze at the roof and reminisce about her, with Mui offering him comfort and companionship. 10 years later, when Mui has grown into a 20-year-old servant, the eldest son Trung decides to dismiss her and send her to work as a servant in the house of his friend, Quinn. Mui has secretly loved Quinn since she was a little girl. Quinn, also the son of a wealthy family, is a pianist engaged to a woman of his social class named Thu. Their relationship slowly changes as Mui begins working as a housemaid in Quinn's home. The story unfolds at a slow pace, with no complex plot lines. The film conveys its narrative through artistic elements, sound, and the actors' subtle expressions, with more than 80% of the storytelling requiring interpretation of the carefully embedded symbols. This unique storytelling style is characteristic of Trần Anh Hùng work. Roles, responsibilities, and Vietnamese way of life. Influence of Chinese culture in Vietnamese society. This film reflects Vietnamese society before 1940, when the patriarchal system was still deeply entrenched, manifesting in the way life was organized within households. Since Vietnamese culture has been influenced by Chinese culture, the film subtly reflects the yin-yang energy as per Confucian philosophy. In this context, balance between male and female energies is necessary to create a warm and harmonious household or society. In the film, the wealthy family's home is depicted as lacking balance between male and female energies, resulting in a problematic household. This imbalance is evident from the fact that the wealthy household consists of 4 males: the father, the wealthy man, the eldest son, the middle son, and the youngest son. The males in the house take no responsibility for anything inside or outside the home, spending most of their time playing music, seeking pleasure outside, and wasting their inherited wealth. The father and eldest son, Trung, often indulging in their desires without concern for the family's financial status. Midway through the film, the wealthy father, who had behaved properly since the death of his daughter, steals the family's savings to spend on women, eventually returning home ill and penniless, dying soon after. Other behaviors also illustrate this imbalance, such as reading leisurely, killing or torturing animals to vent frustrations from a dysfunctional family. The middle son Lam, who is emotionally repressed, often uses anger to solve problems and isolates himself with books, or playing cruel tricks on female servants for amusement. The youngest son Tin, who often harasses the servant Mui, like urinating in a vase she cleaned or hiding a lizard in it to startle her, causing the vase to break in hopes that Mui would be punished. However, the lady of the house understands the situation and does not blame Mui, knowing it was her son's doing. In contrast, the women in the household are responsible for domestic duties and earning money. These women include the grandmother, the mother, the lady of the house, and the elderly maid. The film shows that the female energy in the household is weaker than the male energy, with the women being middle-aged to elderly and having less power compared to the younger and middle-aged men, who still hold much control. Additionally, the film portrays the character Thuan, the old man who secretly loves the grandmother, as an outsider with no voice or status to influence or act as he wishes, in stark contrast to the 4 men in the wealthy family who have the authority to do whatever they please. The women, meanwhile, lack the power to criticize or condemn any wrongdoing. Interestingly, the women in the film end up blaming themselves when bad things happen within the family, reflecting the strong presence of patriarchy in both the wealthy family and Vietnamese society at the time. Therefore, the lady of the house feels compelled to bring in a new servant, the young Mui, to restore the household's balance. For the lady, Mui is more than just a servant. She becomes a replacement for the daughter she lost to illness many years ago. The lady even admits that having Mui in the family has helped heal her emotionally from her previously unhappy life. Additionally, the household comes to view Mui as a daughter of the family in a way. The lady once believed that Lam, the middle son, might fall in love with Mui and take her as his wife, but he does not, instead moving away to pursue a secluded life writing books, possibly signifying that he sees her as a sister. Another significant event is when Trung, the eldest son, dismisses Mui and sends her to work as a servant in the home of his friend Quinn, which parallels the tradition in Chinese or Vietnamese culture where a daughter marries into her husband's household. Thus, the roles of daughter, bride, and servant in this film are almost indistinguishable, as serving, pleasing, and supporting fathers, brothers, and husbands are still considered the duties of women in Asian culture. Mui's social status progression through film symbols. At the age of 20, Mui begins working at Quinn's home, a pianist who lives alone, with occasional visits from his fiancée, Thu. Mui's daily routine involves cooking, cleaning, polishing shoes, and mending Quinn's clothes. Every task is done with care and dedication, reflecting her genuine affection and sense of duty. Thu, on the other hand, embodies the modern woman who challenges traditional domestic roles. She enjoys nightlife and prefers dining out, even insisting that Quinn take her to restaurants despite Mui's prepared meals. Thu openly expresses her desires, including initiating physical intimacy, showcasing a bold, contemporary approach to relationships. One notable symbol is the vase Thu gifts Quinn, representing her assertiveness in their relationship. It can be interpreted as a gesture of offering herself and her affection. However, Quinn's dismissive response, calling the vase broken, reflects his disinterest and emotional detachment from Thu. Her attempt to mask her disappointment with laughter underscores her vulnerability beneath her confident exterior. In contrast, Mui's quiet presence in Quinn's home gradually nurtures a deep emotional connection. Through his drawings on music sheets, Mui senses Quinn's growing affection for her, though she remains aware of her position as a servant. This dynamic is poignantly symbolized in a scene where Mui extinguishes a burning mosquito coil, reflecting her internal struggle to suppress her emotions. The shift in Mui's feelings and status is marked by a scene where she dresses in a red outfit, symbolizing newfound confidence and emotional awakening. Her happiness in sensing Quinn's feelings is reflected in her appearance. Yet, she is simultaneously overwhelmed by fear and self-doubt due to her status, illustrated by her nervous reaction when Quinn notices her lipstick. His cautious approach, avoiding scaring her, subtly conveys his respect for her boundaries. Cultural nuances are also evident in Quinn's reaction to Thu playfully touching his head, a sacred body part in Southeast Asian culture. His anger, expressed through intense music, highlights the clash between traditional values and modern expressions of affection. Thu's bold, Western-influenced demeanor contrasts sharply with Mui's traditional, modest appearance and demeanor, characterized by her ao-dai and gentle silence. The tender moments between Quinn and Mui are underscored by his switch to soft, melodic music in her presence, revealing his genuine affection. Thu's realization of this shift leads to her destructive outburst, culminating in her breaking the vase, removing her engagement ring, and leaving in frustration. Her actions reflect both personal heartbreak and the broader societal tensions between modernity and tradition. Quinn's subsequent gesture of giving Mui a beginner's Vietnamese lesson book symbolizes a new chapter in her life. It represents both his love and his intention to guide her toward personal growth. This act, though rooted in the patriarchal norms of the time, empowers Mui to find her voice. In the final scene, Mui reads to Quinn while carrying their child, symbolizing her transformation. Her yellow maternity dress reflects the warmth and fulfillment of motherhood. Mui represents a woman navigating a patriarchal society with resilience and grace, ultimately finding the life she long desired despite the constraints around her.